I think Smixy is, I think they moved either up one or stayed the same. Gorgo 9 and 7th. Iceman Isaac 10th. I mean, it looks kind of like exactly what we just saw after game number 5. So game 6 kind of helped solidify some of these standings, but didn't do enough to shake them up. I'm a bit surprised, actually.
Yeah, the biggest difference was Smixy actually went from 10th place all the way up to 6th
place.
There you go. Yeah, so that's the biggest shakeup. Yeah. Aside from Natasha going from 6th place to 5th place, so you got the ladies battling out in 6th and 5th, which is making things exciting. They've been playing so incredibly well today, both Natasha and Smixy. Yeah, I mean their crew has been incredible. The end games have been exciting, specifically because of those two ladies, but man, for Hisoka still holding on. The gap did get a little bit closer, but it's still like a 15-point gap. A lot of work to be done, and Hisoka, due to their late games, they're still holding on tight. But on to the game 6 winner. Game 6 winners is going to be Diazbiffle. Of course, we know what they're doing. They drop market, and then they just kind of go from there. A couple of teams are going to be around them. Who it's going to be, I'm sure we'll find out soon.
Well, if this team starts getting on a roll in the early game, I mean, again, that puts, like we've said a billion times back in week 1 and 2, it's going to put pressure on Hisoka and company. And we saw one of those like legendary 1v1 matchups against these two trios that came down, I believe it was in week 2. It came down to the end game, and it was a team fight that led way to who was essentially going to take first place. But, you know, this is a situation where if you're Hisoka, same strats as always, right? Like, work as a trio, continue to work through the market as you've been doing, stay calm, cool, collected, on a couple eliminations, but play for endgame. You don't have to change up too much. But on the other side, you look at trios and squads like Smixy, who have really changed up their early game. They've cleaned it up, and they're just so much more proficient in the early game and hitting their rotations and getting through a couple of team trades and engagements quickly. It's been really impressive to see them make small adjustments as the weeks have gone on and find success finally here in week 4.
Slowly but surely, Diazbiffle, Sage, Shifty, they're going to start making their move forward, and Shifty's already done so. He's now in the other building. Meanwhile, kind of hanging back is going to be Diazbiffle. Sage is also onto the rooftop with him, but looks like Shifty is going to be that tip of the spear. Remember, Shifty and Diazbiffle have kind of been in the race at least for the first 3 weeks of who's going to get the most eliminations. Diazbiffle ultimately ended up winning that, but Shifty wasn't far behind. But the engagement's in. Shifty drops to Almond, but Diazbiffle is there for the trade. That's what makes them so good as a team. One falls, the other one is there to pick up the slack.
And you always have to worry about Sage, too. I mean, at least for the majority of today, looking specifically at that game 4, before the reset, he was everywhere. He was picking up trios left and right. Like, I think he went on like a 5 or 6 kill tear in the span of about a minute. So this team, every facet, every cylinder they have is going to be firing on all cylinders. They have everything they need to take down everybody in this lobby. It just came down to everybody else playing a bit better today. Right now, it's up to them to, again, make their move with about 53 players still up. Again, Respawn's still active. When that eventually closes, conversation will get a little bit more tense. But to start now, great shots, just can't reposition into the fight and has to dip out of dodge.
Oh my god, it killed me.
Wondering if Sage pushes that, because Sage was in the forward position. They almost pincered in the players who were up top. Back, though, is going to be Diazbiffle. At a spot where he's at. Sage did not make the push. In fact, he backs up just a little bit, but this is where Biffle wants to push up. Going to get the medic vest, which is going to be beneficial for getting his teammates back into the fight a lot quicker. Sage has been lost. Shifty is up ahead. Diazbiffle gets flanked. He's down. And now Shifty has to stay up as long as he can.
The surprise on Biffle's face, he's like, okay. Didn't expect that quickly, but back into the play. Everybody can breathe yet again. DJ Moss filling in, of course, for Tommy, who has had a very good day. I mean, this trio, the only negative you can say is, okay, they didn't get, 25 eliminations per game. That's about it. They have found 3 back-to-back-to-back victories through the middle stint of today, really putting pressure on everybody else. But they're just trying to fight for top 4 as well, which is surprising because, again, the eliminations have really not gone their way. They've been skating by on 17, on 11. Their highest total was 20. But I think Natasha might have either taken him out or at least got a bounty on her head, regardless, though. But yeah, that trio is surprising. The fact they're only like top 5 and they've got 3 wins back-to-back-to-back, didn't think I'd be saying that.
I could easily flank them.
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, but again, it just comes to show you those eliminations, they matter. You have to pick them up. A win is only worth so much. The multiplier only has so much of an effect depending on where your elim sits. Clutchbelk is being hunted. He did pick up a player just a little bit earlier. Clutchbelk filling in for this roster in place of Adrian, who could not play today. And they've had a couple of great games, and we've seen some glimpses of them within the top 10, but for the most part, it's kind of been like the previous weeks where they're just trying to break into top 5 in the last couple of games, but they've never really been a team that can break in to that top 3 position. Maybe week 1 was the closest we saw them get, but ever since then, it kind of hasn't been too impressive. Rated skimming by with just a sliver of health. PA is going to be called through, and Aydan, he was out for blood.
Feels like that's the way this trio's been playing for a while. The latter half of today, like they've been out for blood. Then we saw him get to the end of game 5, fighting against Natasha.
Two up there. It
was Rated who led the charge. Aydan eventually fell. And I think they got Juki's down. Juki's a player who we haven't talked a lot about at all today.
Right.
And it's been a bit of a surprise. You know, sometimes, look, tournaments just favor different playstyles, sure. But Juki's individually, I mean, you could make the argument, probably the most individually talented player in the entire lobby, and he's been, his trio's been so silenced in this entire tournament. It's been surprising.
Yeah, Juki's just a power player in general. Very smart, high IQ player, super aggressive, very passionate. Gave me one of my best interviews I've had. You're right, they have been very quiet, though. That is a reality. And you could even say the same thing. FIFA's not playing today, but even for FIFA Kill's roster, fairly quiet. Zyro, fairly quiet. But for Aydan, very loud, at least so far. Those high alerts pings, man, they just help so much because there's a player behind him. He has no idea that's the case. High alert pops and he's like, okay, maybe I need to keep my head on a swivel, turn around. A lot of comms, though, going in from Aydan and his crew.
Oh, yeah, pop one. Wait, what? Just hit me through the stairs. Yeah.
And I want to go ahead and actually, if you don't mind, I would love to do a listening because I want to hear what's going on in this crew and what's working and what's not working. So let's do a listening and see what they got to say.
Trying to run.
The guy to the right as well. Right on me.
He went in the water. I'm coming.
Who's in the water? Who's in the water?
In the water over here. IPD.
I get on him.
Where's this guy, Reese?
On me, inside.
I'm coming.
They're all in police.
On me. Down.
Guy dropping in.
In police. Yo, you're free to come if you want to rotate a little bit more in.
I'm about to get another area.
Right down the river to me when you're ready to rotate.
I get on him.
Where's this guy, Reese?
On me, inside.
I'm coming.
They're all in police.
On me.
Guy dropping in.
In police. Yo, you're free to come if you want to rotate a little bit more.
I'm about to get another area.
Right down the river to me when you're ready to rotate.
Stadium's looking.
Yeah, I'm trying to shoot him. Tagged him. Tagging his ass.
Come on, Yuri. Oh, fuck.
Oh, shit, bro. Fuck you.
He's down low. Do we want to cross right here?
Yeah. Like, get across here.
Please, no fucking sharks. No sharks.
Over here you go. Should be good. Close, stealth us, so close to us, bro. Like, the full team of 3 on live.
I ran.
Just landed on you, in.
On my roof.
Somebody will let you get loaded. Crazy. Bro, this shit is like, bro, like, god damn, bro. Like, yeah. Oh, this load is gonna be tough. Be nice though.
Just landed on you, in.
On my roof.
Somebody will let you get loaded. Crazy.
I'm watching these PD loadies. I'm just staring at them. There's people on my roof, like at least 2.
I'm gonna get up with you, or?
I'm just down low. It's kind of. I'm gonna have to move soon. I'm just kind of camping.
Oh, shit, I'm just gonna... Come on, brother. Run across the bridge with me.
Copying any. I'm camping.
Yeah, he landed on the roof above me. Alright,
Yeah, 180 down.
Nice.
Reinforcements inbound. Mark remaining operators from that squad.
Yes, teammate.
Down. Be advised, you have teammates outside the safe zone.
A little bit of frustrations from Aydan, right? And I think that just comes to a testament of the pressure of the resurgence, players constantly coming back in, also finding themselves outside of the zone, trying to work their into safe zone. You've got those gatekeepers, and they had them pinned down. And even before then, right? I mean, they knew their rotation was going to be hard. There was a call out. There was, players at police station that was just right near them. They understood, like, and Aydan was even, kind of calling out, almost pleading in a way, like, look, we can rotate now.
Give me a second, I can get an angle.
Positioning, and they eventually do so, but it took a little bit of time to find themselves in a bit of a stable position. For a second there, I thought we were going to lose all three.
The scary thing with that trio is even if you get them frustrated, they're not an easy out. They're not just going to roll over and give up. So you're going to have to keep applying the pressure. They still have everybody up available. Evan's starting to get very vocal in the comms, and uh-oh, dangerous spot to be in for Swagg. Luckily, he has the water to boot and get out of dodge as Z-Colors takes another engagement, and Evan will begin to press. Where do you go if you're Swagg here? It's like, do I re-engage and take a challenge that I know I'm not ready for? Do I go to Evan and rotate through the zone? Z-Colors goes down. This team, man, it feels like they're cursed or something, because they always get so far into the play, so far into the zone, and they just can't seem to find an answer to get themselves to the end game.
In space, this is the worst time to lose two of your players. Resurgence literally just ended. Swagg was swimming, and I think I heard him say, how do I get up there? And he was looking at that line like, do I want to take this line and just full send it? He opts not to do that, which I think was the best play possible. But I don't know if Swagg really knows how he wants to attack this at the moment. And, he's just desperately trying to get as many plates as he can. His plates were low. Sometimes in these end games, your plates, they run dry. And he only has 2 plates left, which is going to not be easy to deal with, but now makes it 3. But enough money to bring back a squad mate. So even though Swagg was a bit indecisive as to what his play should be, getting his teammate back was the best play. He gets in Super Evan. Now Super Evan could be that UAV, but more importantly, there's powers in numbers, and Swagg is at least going to have some company.
And when the play breaks down, what's the first step? All right, get resources, then try to get a teammate back. And that's what he did. He just kept everything simple. There was really nowhere to rotate to. Luckily, the last crate he opens had enough cash, and it was just about getting everything in the right position. He gets 1 back. We'll try to work from a deficit, but it's certainly possible. Not a terrible spot to be in. Now you just got to make it count, as he gets so tagged up and shot through the wall, but the self-revive will come in. Not in time, though, and they will get eliminated. 13th. Not terrible, but not great for that trio with how great they usually are and what we expect from them. A very frustrating performance here in game number 6. Excuse me, game 7. As of right now, repositioning from Unrational Knight and Scummin comes down to a stack.
Yeah, they're stacking. They're moving. They're grooving. 8 eliminations out there for Gorgo Knight. We talked about their position. At one point, they jumped from outside of top 10 all the way into 5th place. And then after game number 6, they were sitting in 7th place at 88 points. So they were about 20 points or so, less than 20 points outside of top 4, which is where they want to be for the money if they can get to that point, which this game could very well be that game, but a little bit of trouble, it seems. Gorgo Knight takes a lot of damage. Scummin falls. Unrational last alive to try and carry the torch.
And is he either headed to a buy station? I believe so, yes. Get a teammate back, but he's going to pay the price for it. And again, we get in situations now where when you start losing numbers, you either have to invest in yourself or your teammate. And you have to make the call of which one's going to have the easier opportunity to get us in the placement or to keep us involved in this game. In back-to-back situations for Swagg and Unrational, it was get your teammate back into play. And now you just try to buy time. Back onto the rooftops we go, Huskerrs. If there's a availability on a rooftop somewhere, Huskerrs is probably going to be there. And he's got the sniper in his hands. Streak will at least help clean up Aydan. Huge investment. He finds a knock onto Iceman Isaac. So 2 different squads, 2 different engagements. They're cleaning up everybody.
They definitely are. 6 trios remaining. 9 players up. That sniper is hurting. Doggy's down, but the Overwatch is keeping them safe. Saltify is also going to be there. Watch out, though, from the rooftop. You see the frustration. Sometimes you get tunnel vision. He wanted to be the Overwatch for his teammates to get back into play, but then his backside is exposed. He gets taken down, and that trio now in a lot of trouble. We switch over to Shifty's perspective. After a wonderful game number 6, they take a victory. I believe 13 eliminations. They're looking to better their positioning. The team to catch up to Hisoka in first is right before you, but Shifty needs a strong finish space.
He's only got 2 elims, and he just got his second. But Scummin and Irrational, I think both went down.
You have cars in front of you, too.
And you can hear him. You got stuff in front of you. You have places to stand. You don't have to get tagged too much. Cover's there. He's going to move in. And he's using the zone to cover. I like this play. It's a high risk, high reward. He's got some plates. He'll be okay.
They're inner.
Whether or not he gets peeked from the ceiling is an entirely different story. You would love COD timing to work out for the players above, but for him, just stay quiet, try to get inside, he'll do so.
Spaces looks like a 1v1v1v1, right? There's 4 trios up, 4 players remaining, and they're all solos. No flares, obviously, because they haven't been used. And Shifty is pinned up. Now, because it's all solos, though, there could be a lot of fighting on the outside. He could go in for the third party and get a finish. No shot! He finds a piece of real estate inside the building. The only hard cover really anyone has to stay alive. Something the COD gods will bless him with from the top, though, is Little J. Script the Shara. Little J trying to carry the torch for his roster. It's a 1v1. I believe him and Shifty last alive. A bus is going to separate them. Shifty's been spotted. Surely Little J wins, but he has no plates. He doesn't have a way to heal up. He's taking damage. He's forced to drop down, but Space, he's still alive.
And he can't touch zone. If he touches zone, he's going to die. He will get back to full health, quote unquote. Does it come down to a heal off? I mean, is this the only logical situation? He's got nothing. He literally has nothing.
Nothing. 17 bullets, like literally nothing to work with. He shuts the door. Might as well. Oh yeah, he's bleeding out.
Go on the hunt. Go on the hunt.
He's
Absolutely.
Hurting. He's got plates.
He at least has plates, but he's just going on the hunt for something.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Anything.
Nothing.
Oh, now you're just praying somebody else dies before you. The last guy, Willie. Oh, Little J dies off. Second place in the hill off. Our first hill off of the day will be won. I can't believe it. I never thought we would actually see a hill off, yet finally we get one.
The stim shot at the end, like just the sliver of health that was required, was Hadze Jr. and Crinks. Again, one of the squads that were most consistent today, that we have seen consistently on our screen, comes down to a heal off. That's just funny. I mean, closing the door is great just for morale, but I mean, 21 elims there for Wars and Company. They get the victory as well. That'll help them obviously in the standings, duh. But I think the victory there, obviously, for me at least, my perspective is just